last king of the dynasty of Jehu, Zechariah 744, was assassinated by Shalom 744. 744 to 722, Tiglath-Pileser III of Assyria forced Menahem and Pekahiah to pay tribute. Menahem and Pekahiah. Pekah 737 allied himself with Damascus, taken by Tiglath-Pileser in 732, and his kingdom was devastated. Hosea 732. Hosea refused to pay tribute to Shalmaneser V and was deposed. After a siege of 3 years, Samaria was taken by Sargon, who exiled 27,290 Israelites. How do we know that specifically? The kingdom of Israel ceased to exist. And that was it. Fucking Sargon started persecuting. So I guess he was the first Kanye. Sargon exiled about over 27,000 Israelites. And then there was no kingdom of Israel. So we had Jeroboam, we had Omri, Jehu, Tiglath-Pileser III. No, wait. I'm not for sure what's going on. Something happened. Then the 700s happened. The 900s, the 800s, it was all going good. Then 745, then 735, and then 722, 705. Then 722. Never forget 722 BC. The kingdom of Judah. They begin both the same, 933, but then they end differently. The kingdom of Israel ends 722, but the kingdom of Judah doesn't end until 586 BC. So they last for another year and 50 years. Or 140 years. They last for another 140 years. The kingdom of Judah lasts for 140 years more than the kingdom of Israel. 933, 780, Rehoboam, 933, Abijah, 917, and Asa, 915, fought against the kings of Israel with small success. Jehoshaphat, 875, made an alliance with Ahab. Edom rebelled against Jehoram, 851. Ahaziah, 844, was killed by Jehu, and his mother Athaliah, a daughter of Jezebel, 843, ruled until a palace revolution placed Jehoash, 837, on the throne. The latter paid tribute to Hazael of Damascus. Amaziah, 798, defeated the Edomites, but was taken prisoner by Joash, king of Israel. 780 to 586, Azariah, Uzziah, 780, enjoyed a prosperous reign owing to Israel's revival. Under Jeroboam the second, Jotham, 740, was attacked by Pekah and Rezin, last king of Damascus. Ahaz, 735, contrary to the advice of Isaiah, called Tiglath-Pileser to his help. Hezekiah, 720, however, defied Sennacherib, but after a disastrous war, 701, he came to terms. Hezekiah came to terms. Manasseh, 692. There's a Manasseh here in Conejos County. Manasseh, 692, remained a faithful vassal of Assyria and encouraged the worship of its gods, as also Amon, 639. Josiah, 638, reformed the worship, centralizing it to the temple at Jerusalem, and fell at Megiddo, 609, fighting against the pharaoh Necho, who deposed Jehoahaz, 607, and placed Jehoiakim, 607, on the throne through Nebuchadrezzar's victory over Necho. At Carchemish, 605, Judah passed under Babylonian rule. Jehoiakim rebelled in 598, dying soon after. Jehoiakim rebelled 598, died soon after. Hoiachin 598 to 597 was taken captive to Babylonia together with the Judean leaders, among them Ezekiel. It's interesting to think of Kim and Chin and Judah. There's like these Rick, Haz, Balls, Jeremiah, Kia, just Kim, Jehoiakim. Kind of makes me think of Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il. Zedekiah 597 against the advice of Jeremiah defied Nebuchadrezzar, who destroyed Jerusalem 586 and brought an end to the kingdom of Judah. Fucking shit. So you got motherfucking Nebuchadrezzar, goddamn and then Sargon. Sargon destroyed Israel, and then Nebuchadrezzar destroyed Judah. Now, here's a chapter B called The Jews. Here's a chapter called B. The Jews. And it's only like a couple paragraphs, so buckle up. Buckle up. 586 to 538, the Jews under Babylonian rule in Judea. The Jews were poor and hard pressed between the Edomites and the Samaritans. In Babylonia, they were prosperous and progressive. 538 to 332, the Jews under Persian rule. The temple in Jerusalem was rebuilt 520 to 516, but conditions remained wretched until Nehemiah 445 and 433 came to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem and enforce the observance of the law, thus precipitating the Samaritan Schism. 332 198, the Jews under the rule of Alexander 332 to 323 and of the Ptolemies of Egypt 323 to 198. 198 to 168, the Jews under the Seleucids. So we don't know what happened under Alexander and the Ptolemies of Egypt, or the Jews under the Seleucids. So from 332 to 168, just Alexander was there, Ptolemies of Egypt, and the Jews under the Seleucids. The Seleucids were there too. 168 to 63. Led by Judas Maccabeus and his brothers, the Jews rebelled against Antiochus IV Epiphanes 175 to 164, who had declared Judaism illegal. Religious freedom was achieved in 164 and after wars under the leadership of Jonathan 161 and Simon 143 BC. Political freedom was attained 142 BC. John Hyrcanus 135, Aristobulus the first 104, Alexander Jannaeus 103, and Alexandra 76 to 67 continued the struggle for conquest until the rivalry between Aristobulus II and his brother Hyrcanus II forced Pompey to place the Jews under Roman rule. 63 BC to 395 AD, Palestine under Roman rule. Under Hyrcanus II, 63 to 40 BC, the real ruler was his prime minister, Antipater, who appointed his own sons Herod and Phasael as governors. Herod the grape. A Parthian expedition placed Antigonus, the son of Aristobulus II, on the throne. 40 to 37, Herod the Great, 37 to 4 BC, ruled as king of Judea by appointment of the Roman Senate. He began the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem, erected a temple of Augustus in Samaria, renamed Sebaste in honor of Augustus, and improved the harbor of Caesarea. He was, however, hated by Sadducees, Pharisees, and Zealots. Jesus of Nazareth was born in the latter part of his reign, between 6 and 4 BC. Herod's 3 sons succeeded him: Archelaus as ethnarch of Judea and Samaria, 4 BC to 6 AD, Antipas of Tetrarch of Galilee and Perea, 4 BC to 39 AD, and Philip as Tetrarch of Batanea. So you got Philip and Antipas and Archelaus. How come you got these weird names? Archelaus. Okay, I'm going to name one of my sons Archelaus. I'm going to name another of my sons Antipatus. And you're Philip. Philip? Yep. Philip. All right. I'll be the rickest of all the Philips out here. I'll be the Philippist of the Philips. Northeast of the Lake of Galilee, 4 BC to 34 AD. After their death, except for Herod Agrippa's brief rule over the combined territory, 41 to 44, and his sons, Herod Agrippa II, 50 to 100, interrupted rule over parts of it, Palestine was placed under the administration of Roman procurators. During the War of the Jews against Rome, 63 to 73. What? The Jews fought against Rome? Damn! Son. Damn, son. Get my Kalinsky on. 63 to 73. During the War of the Jews against Rome, 66. Jerusalem was destroyed by Titus, 70. After another... Titus. Is that the same Titus? No. That was fucking 700 BC. So it'd be interesting to kind of put the two timelines together, wouldn't it? Of Rome and the Jews. Because who is the damn emperor? Who's the emperor that, we know about Herod, right? And then we also know about Pontius Pilate, which I don't know if they mention. They don't. So, what am I trying to say here? After another war under Trajan, I think Trajan was one of the 5 good emperors. After another war under Trajan, 115 to 117, the Jews, led by Bar Kocheba, rebelled in the time of Hadrian, 132 to 135. After the devastation of Judea, Jerusalem was made into a Roman colony, Aelia Capitolina, and was barred to the Jews. Henceforth, the centers of Jewish learning were in Galilee, Tiberias, and in Babylonia. The 2 great editions of the Talmud were prepared there at the end of the 5th century. Wow. So Judea was devastated. Jerusalem's made into a Roman colony, so therefore it's not Jewish, the capital of the Jewish Judea, Israel anymore. Barred from the Jews, so they weren't even allowed to be in Jerusalem. And so, therefore, the centers of the Jewish learning were in Galilee, Tiberias, and in Babylonia. And that's where the Talmud is going to get written, in Galilee. I think that's in Palestine today, right? That's not... Woo! That is a lot. That is a lot. My God, canon in Palestine, Judah, Jordan Valley, Galilee, the Semites, Bronze Age, the Amorites, and the goddamn Arameans, and Moab, and Ammonites, and the Horites, and the Hurrians, and the Hittites, and the Philistines, and the Mycenaean culture, and the Astarte, and the local Biru. You got the damn judges, Samuel, Kings. You got Book of Samuel, Saul, David, Micah, Isaiah, Hosea, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Saul, David, Gilboa, Moses, Jehovah, Sinai, Horeb, Amos, Ezekiel. I'm pretty sure if you're a Christian, you've heard of Psalms, Proverbs, Book of Job. The Old Testament, Persian, Hellenistic, Apocrypha. The Apocalypses, Moses, Talmud, Mishma, Genesis, Joseph tribes, Goshen. The Joseph tribes, and then there's the Benjamin tribes. Samson of Dan is a figure of legend symbolizing the beginning of the conflict with the Philistines, as a result of which the tribe of Dan moved to the extreme north of Palestine. Samson of Dan, he was a real guy. Samson was a real guy. He just shook the columns and the whole thing crashed down. Apparently killed 3,000 Philistines. Just like 9/11. 3,000 people were killed. Solomon's son, Rehoboam, refused the demand of the northern tribes. So, okay, we've already... What's going on here? I don't know. The damn Bible. It feels like there's just sort of one group of people that just kept on, compiling all this information. No, this is... And then they want to make connect Jesus to David, and then connect David to Abraham and Eve. But Abraham or Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve didn't fucking exist, nor did Abraham and Moses. So to make, Jesus connect to those, it's like, well... Jesus was born of a sun and a cloud and a star and a comet and one of Saturn's rings. That doesn't sound like Jesus was real then. That sounds like Jesus was completely made up. But I could see how back in the day, right, that they would say, well, I got the list. My people came from Jesus. My people came from David. My people came straight from Adam and Eve. That's a hell of a fucking claim you got there. Yep. I am the people of Adam and Eve. Thank you very much. That means I get to live here. Get out of here. Well, I'm the people of Moses. Well, that means I'm here before you. Well, I'm the people of Abraham. Again, Adam and Eve beats all of you all. Well, I'm the people of God. Oh, shit. God was here before man. Oh man. So could we, just like any stories out there, you got Grimm's fairy tales, you got Andersen's fairy tales, you got motherfucking this goddamn, book collection of stories and that collection of stories. If they were actually, if you were like modern Jews, if you were to put all this together and then you knew who your, parents were in your own lineage and you got your own thing going on, all this stuff would, if it was me, I'd be a lot more interested in it. But it seems like I came from Christianity, so I'm atheist, but I'm culturally Christian. I don't want my kids to be Christian. But there are some good things about Christianity, which means there's some good things about Judaism. So there's some things worth keeping out of all this. This is history, right? This is historic. And for continuity's sake, you got to know what the hell is going on. This was such a great history lesson. Motherfucking Kanye said that there's no such thing as history, so apparently none of this happened to him. I don't believe that. I feel like this is just so rich with the names, and it's compiled, and it's just so smart and intelligent. Even if it's a little bit off, I feel like Jehu and Jeroboam, they're probably fucking real. Hazael of Damascus, probably. Nehemiah, like what the fuck, stupid ass. And then Azariah took over. Why would you make up that name? And they took over all of us. Judas Maccabeus and his brothers, the Jews, rebelled against Antiochus. And then a lot of this isn't just the Bible, but they get, when you get information from any other source, right? They get from the Muslims, from the Romans, from the Greeks, from the Egyptians. You get anything that kind of, cross sort of reference, that cross references any of these facts, then it makes these facts that much more true. Herod the Great, in the story of Jesus, Herod the Great kills all the firstborn sons. And so that would be a great literary device to say that Herod the Great was a piece of shit because he was killing everybody, and just to make sure he killed the Jesus, he killed all the sons just to make sure that the Jesus never got born. But the Jesus slipped on through. Like Moses, Moses was born the same way. So it could be a literary device that they just want to say, okay, Herod's a bitch-ass villain, piece of shit, fuck him. And Jesus is the great, wonderful savior of the world. But Herod apparently did a lot of good fucking shit. The Roman Senate had, appointed him. Pontius Pilate is some fucking Romans, right? He's speaking up against the empire. Herod the Great began rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem, erected a temple of Augustus in Samaria, improved the harbor of Caesarea. So he got some shit done, right? But this feels like Herod the Great was real, even more real than what he was before I read that. So, anything else? There's a couple here. Wikipedia. Saul. According to the Hebrew Bible, the first monarch of the United Kingdom of Israel. Ishbosheth. Ishbosheth is the second king. His reign, traditionally placed late 11th century, supposedly marked the transition of Israel and Judah from a scattered tribal society to organized statehood. The historicity of Saul in the United Kingdom of Israel is not universally accepted, as what is known of both comes from the Hebrew Bible. According to the text, he was anointed as king of the Israelites by Samuel and reigned from Gibeah. Saul is said to have died by suicide when he fell on his sword during a battle with the Philistines on Mount Gilboa, in which 3 of his sons were also killed. The succession to his throne was contested between Ishbosheth, his only surviving son, and David, his son-in-law. Some asshole from out of nowhere. David ultimately prevailed and assumed kingship over Israel and Judah, which was good for us all, David. I mean, that's the David and Goliath story, right? That's a badass story. Even if David never existed, just to have that story of David and Goliath that's good enough. Well, David, if you say you're the chosen one, there's Goliath. Good luck. Do you got that slingshot? You didn't bring your slingshot? All right, here's a slingshot. You got a rock? You didn't even bring a rock? Shit. David, I got $3 on this. David was a favorite of Saul, the first king of Israel. He also forges a notable friendship with Jonathan, a son of Saul. However, under the paranoia that David is seeking to usurp the throne, Saul attempts to kill David, forcing the latter to go into hiding and effectively operate as a fugitive for several years. After Saul and Jonathan are both killed in battle against the Philistines, the 30-year-old David is anointed king over all of Israel and Judah. Following his rise to power, David conquers the city of Jerusalem, establishes it as Israel's capital, subsequently taking the Ark of the Covenant into the city to be the central point of worship in the Israelite religion. The Ark of the Covenant is a real thing. What is the Ark of the Covenant? Some big box, some big golden box. The Ark of the Testimony, the Ark of God, believed to be the most sacred relic of the Israelites and described as a wooden chest covered in pure gold with an elaborately designed lid called the Mercy Seat. All right. I've seen Indiana Jones. I know all about the Ark of the Covenant. Solomon, also called Jedediah, not Jebediah, but Jedediah with a D, Jedediah. Old Solomon, old Jedediah, huh? I hate that they call you Jedediah. Why not Jebediah? What the fuck is wrong with the B? He was a monarch of ancient Israel and the son and successor of David according to the Hebrew Bible. So you had Saul, then you had that Ish fucking ball guy, and then you had David and then Solomon. David kind of took it from the fucking monarchs, right? He's kind of anti-royalist. David's like a fucking citizen king who took it from the other kings and then named himself king. But aren't all kings in a way citizen kings in some respects? David is described as the penultimate ruler of an amalgamated Israel and Judah. The hypothesized dates of Solomon's reign are 970 to 931 BCE. After his death, his son and successor Rehoboam would adopt harsh policy towards the northern tribes, eventually leading to the splitting of the Israelites between the kingdom of Israel in the north and the kingdom of Judah in the south. Following the split, the patrilineal descendants ruled over Judah alone. Judah alone. So, is Saul the historicity? Is there a Saul? The historicity of Saul's kingdom is not universally accepted. There's insufficient extra biblical evidence to verify if the biblical account reflects historical reality. Right, so it's just the Bible. It's just a Bible character. Nobody else talks about this Saul motherfucker. But nobody was around back in 100 BC either, except for, a lot of the Egyptians. But why would they care what was going on in, some little town over there? While several scholars believe that the existence of the United Monarchy is corroborated by archaeological evidence, although with considerable theological exaggerations, others like Israel Finkelstein believe it to be a late ideological construct. Interesting. That could be true. 2. Jewish Study Bible. Oded Lipschitz states the concept of united monarchy should be abandoned, while Aaron Meyer highlights the lack of evidence about the united monarchy. However, in his books Beyond the Text 2018 and Has Archaeology Buried the Bible 2020, William Dever defended the historicity of the united monarchy, maintaining that the reigns of Saul, David, and Solomon are reasonably well attested. Similar arguments were advanced by other people. Archaeology seems to confirm that until about 1000 BCE, the end of the Iron Age, the first Iron Age Israelite society was essentially a society of farmers and stock breeders without any truly centralized organization and administration. So, was Saul a real person? Nobody knows. Was David or Solomon? Who cares? Let's just worship it and don't quit asking questions, God damn it. Fuck.